It all kicks off when strange monoliths just drop from the sky all over the city. Then, protective barriers activated, forming a massive pillar of energy. But monsters known as disaster beasts invaded the human world. Just like that, a horde of bizarre and terrifying creatures appeared, unleashing chaos. In the middle of the confusion, a father sacrifices himself to protect his son from an attack. The city was in absolute pandemonium, with people running for their lives and getting attacked. The blue, flamed creature couldn't have cared less and continued its violent rampage. Next, it launches an energy blast right at the boy's mother. She also sacrifices herself for her son, Itsuki Tenma, and begs him to run. Suddenly, our MC wakes up startled from that horrifying memory. A pink-haired girl notices he was spacing out and gives him a nudge. She asks if everything's okay, because he looked completely out of it. Right after, she looks concerned and asks why he was crying. His friend with the glasses shows up, joking that he always dozes off during assemblies. Meanwhile, a man on stage is talking about the war from 10 years ago. The friend explains that's Mendo Izumi, the commander of the northern continent. He also mentions that Mendo was the very first awakened in history, and that even humanity's strongest hero was once his student. Mendo reveals that touching a monolith can awaken powers in normal people. Finally, he says he's there to turn them all into awakened for the war. Immediately, a monolith shoots up from the ground, surrounded by golden energy. The students go absolutely wild at the chance to finally become awakened. Itsuki's friend is super hyped, but our hero looks dead serious. Then, our guy starts walking toward the stone, ignoring everyone around him. The pink-haired girl gets worried about his strange behavior. With a sinister look and glowing red eyes, he says the day has finally come. The crowd starts touching the stone, but nothing happens with the first student. Others comment that if even the record-breaking athlete couldn't do it, they don't stand a chance either. Several other students try their luck, but they all fail miserably. The crowd gets discouraged since no one from the school has awakened so far. The guard then calls the next in line, a guy named Hikaru Oshi. The students get worried because Hikaru is a known bully, and the stone starts to react. Suddenly, the monolith unleashes blue lightning, and Hikaru starts floating in the air. A screen displays his stats, and he gets all cocky for awakening lightning powers. A blue-haired woman reports that his stats are well above average. All smug, Hikaru asks if the old man Mendo has anything to say to him, but out of nowhere, our MC shows up and places a hand on his shoulder. The bully gets furious and screams for Itsuki to get his filthy hands off him right now. The people in the audience see that Itsuki cut the line and figure he's in for some serious trouble. Our hero then touches the stone, and the woman feels an intense emotion coming from him. As Itsuki touches the stone, the woman notes that his determination is on a whole different level. Even Mendo is surprised by the energy he's feeling from the kid. Our MC then relives the image of the creature that traumatized him in his mind. All of a sudden, a massive column of light erupts from the monolith, engulfing our hero. The energy transforms into a giant flower that covers the entire school grounds. The crowd is completely jaw-dropped by the light show, which is way bigger than Oshi's. His friends are super proud and happy about his impressive awakening. Mendo realizes that this phenomenon only occurs with the rarest class, the Order Breaker. Meanwhile, the bully Hikaru can't believe what's happening. Itsuki then wakes up in a strange place, wondering if he has finally awakened. He's sitting in the middle of the energy flower that formed in the real world. A status screen appears, showing his class as Order Breaker and his gift as Nirvana. But when he looks at his attributes, every single one of them is at 0. However, his Nirvana gift activates, boosting all of his stats by 200 points. Our guy figures out that even without leveling up, he can get strong in a different way. Outside, the light is so bright it's blinding everyone nearby. Slowly, the silhouette of a person begins to emerge from within the light. Ushi is shocked when he realizes the person coming out is Itsuki. The blue-haired woman can't believe his stats, and Mendo says, without a doubt, Our hero is the strongest rookie awakened in all of history. The screen displays our hero's stats with the total of 800 points. The school crowd goes wild, and the principal calls it a historic achievement. But the bully Ushi gets all salty and furious because the guy stole his thunder. So he unleashes his electric rays on everyone and calls Itsuki a loser. Next, Ushi leaps and prepares his new move, the Silver Serpent, for an attack. Our hero's system detects the skill and activates over mimesis to analyze it. The analysis bar starts climbing super fast while our guy stays completely calm. Suddenly, the lightning attack slams into the ground with full force, but doesn't hit anyone. Everyone's confused because they saw a flash, and then poof, Itsuki was just gone. Then, our MC appears behind Ushi, holding the bully's head. With a cold stare, he says Ushi is lucky to be human, otherwise, he'd be toast by now. The crowd just watches as the bully is paralyzed with fear while the analysis continues. With the analysis almost complete, our guy just stands there, chilling. Finally, the analysis hits 100%, and he learns Thunder Wave. Out of nowhere, a new flash appears, and some dude over there is thankful he's wearing sunglasses. The screen then shows that the analysis of the Silver Serpent was a complete success. Now, our MC is shrouded in blue lightning and looks even more powerful. Everyone is shocked because his lightning is brighter, and Ushi has no clue what's going on. His stats climb once again, and his total is now 840 points. Suddenly, the sky darkens, and it starts to rain as something strange falls from above. A new, dark monolith appears in the sky, shooting purple lightning everywhere. The blue-haired woman tells everyone to evacuate, and Mendo thinks he's the target. She's terrified and says they should run too, since they aren't fighters. But Mendo says if they run, everyone will panic, and then he points at Itsuki. While all the students flee in terror, our hero walks toward the danger. The monolith then crashes to the ground with a huge impact, kicking up a ton of dust. His friend Riku yells that a disaster beast is coming, but Itsuki doesn't even flinch. Riku and the pink-haired girl say he's just a rookie and shouldn't be fighting. RMC looks back and with a calm gaze asks them to trust him. So the two of them run while the boy prepares to face the threat alone. With a sinister smile, our hero is pumped for his first real fight. He reveals that this is the same creature that killed his parents, and this is his lucky day. A blue flame skeleton emerges, and the screen shows its stats at 295. Our guy is eager to test out the skill he just copied from the bully. Without wasting any time, he charges straight at the monster using his lightning. Itsuki gathers the energy in his fist and says he won't let anyone else die. Then he lands a lightning punch right in the skeleton's chest with all his might. The blow is so powerful it blows up everything around them and sends the monster flying. The blue-haired woman is shocked that Itsuki defeated the beast in a single hit. However, Mendo explains that his speed is great, but it's not enough to win. Mendo says the skeleton's second skill burns everything it touches with blue fire. Seeing his friend in danger, Riku and the pink-haired girl scream in desperation. Meanwhile, the bully Ushi laughs his head off, saying the kid's about to turn to ash. But our hero's system activates and begins analyzing the monster's fire attack. The blue-haired woman worries, because not even a level 10 awakened could take that. She mourns the death of the genius while Itsuki feels the searing pain of being burned. He then remembers his mother, who suffered the same way before she passed. However, Mendo watches everything calmly, knowing the kid has a trick up his sleeve. Our MC's body is consumed by the flames, but the analysis hits 100%. The guy in sunglasses loses hope, but the blue lotus flower appears again. Itsuki is healed inside the energy and wonders what skill he'll learn now. The screen shows he's gained the black ice wall, and his stats have increased. Then the blue lotus flower glows intensely around our hero. He floats inside it, completely recovered and stronger than before. His friends and the audience cheer, because the kid just pulled off a miracle. The woman wonders about his recovery, and Mendo says he's a special kind of breaker. Mendo is curious to see what the limits of this incredible regeneration are. The skeleton doesn't like this one bit, and attacks with its blue flames once more. But our hero uses his new skill and creates an armor of black ice around his body. The flames hit the boy, but he seems to be protected by his new defense. Inside the flames, his ice armor completely shields him from the attack. Then he uses his new ability and charges forward with a dragon of ice and lightning. Next, our hero creates a giant ice sword with his new skill, and with a single swing, he slices the disaster beast with ease. The students are shocked by the kid's speed. He vanished and reappeared in an instant. The bully Ushi can't believe it, and the woman wonders if he's really a rookie. The armor and weapons he creates are a god-tier ability. His friend Riku yells his name and runs toward him, incredibly relieved. He gives him a happy hug for his victory, and our hero asks where Sayo is. Riku says she was right there, nearly in tears, but disappeared after the fight. Our MC looks at the crowd and wonders if she got mad. Mendu then tells Choha to clean up the mess, because he's taking the kid with him. His friend tries to calm him down, saying she just went to touch the monument. Suddenly, Mendu appears and calls our hero by his full name. The commander and the strongest rookie in history stand face to face. The crowd gossips about whether he'll become Mendu's student but thinks it's impossible. Riku gets nervous about the situation and makes up an excuse to get out of there. Mendu then tells our hero that he's a very special boy. Itsuki is confused and doesn't understand what the commander means by that. Then the old man reveals that he can feel the anger and hatred in his heart. Mendu wants to know the reason for so much hatred, and our hero begins to open up. He explains that it all started 10 years ago, when his parents were attacked by a beast. The image of his terrified younger self flashes back into his mind with full force. The boy says he almost didn't make it, but Inawakan saved him just in time. Even so, he had to watch his mother be consumed by the blue flames. His past self could only scream for his mother, completely desperate. At that moment, the boy blamed himself for his parents' deaths and was devastated. But then he saw the creature that was the root of all evil right in front of him. With his eyes red with hatred, he swore that he would get his revenge one day, and with tears in his eyes, he yells that he's going to wipe out every single demon. The commander finds it strange that even with so much hatred, he can still cry. Itsuki says the tears remind him to never forget his goal. So Mendo invites him to be his student and join the Savior League. He explains that the League is an organization with the best awakened in the world. On top of that, members get weapons and a salary of 10,000 gold a month. However, the price is fighting on the front lines to protect the safety of the people. Our MC doesn't care about rewards or resources. What he wants most is the chance to fight the beasts on the front lines. Mendu says only the top 100 from a tournament can become saviors. Our guy then asks what the point record is so he can have a target. Mendu says the record is 115,000 points, set by some guy named Taiwajan. Our hero remembers that Taiwajan is the light of humanity and the strongest awakened. The old man warns that Jin is special, but that our guy has the potential to reach his level. With a determined look, our hero says he's going to surpass this Taiwajan guy. The commander observes the boy with a very serious look. He thinks that the youth are following Itsuki, but that's not enough to win the war. The old man hopes that someone will surpass him, like a new sun rising on the horizon. Mendo then smiles, because the sun he had been waiting for has finally appeared. Our MC looks at a giant building and asks what it is. The commander explains that the monuments connect this world with the world of the beasts. So if they only kill the creatures and leave the stone, more of them will come. That's why the building serves to isolate the monuments and also as a training ground. Our guy asks if it's a training facility, and Mendu confirms it's a stage. But he warns that the beasts there are strong, which is why the place is called the Rookie Graveyard. The old man reveals that Jin's record was 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Then he challenges the boy to clear it in under 3 minutes to become his student. In the building, the crowd sees Mendo and wonders who the rookie next to him is. Our guy then wonders if this Taiwajan dude is really that famous. He looks at a panel and sees that the stage's beast level is 10. Meanwhile, the crowd comments that he's a rookie, and must just be there to hit on girls. Our hero ignores everyone and goes to the receptionist to enter the stage. The woman asks how many people are entering, and he replies that it's just him. He just stands there in front of her, waiting to be let into the challenge. She gets irritated and thinks he's joking, since the place is extremely dangerous. The crowd around them starts laughing, thinking he's getting shot down by the girl. Itsuki then says she's got it all wrong, as he has no interest in her. She doesn't believe him and offers her number, just to get him to leave and stop pretending. With a dark look, he tells her not to make him repeat himself and to just let him in. Startled, she hands over the bracelet, and he complains that she should have just done that in the first place. People call him an idiot for being level 0 and trying a level 10 stage. One of the guys there says that even with a special gift, his level is still way too low. Our MC then walks to the gate to scan his bracelet. His entry is approved, and the system grants access to awakened Itsuki Tenma. He gets ready and says the promise is to finish everything in under 3 minutes. Then, a timer on the screen starts counting up from 0, and just like that, our guy unleashes his power aura, his eyes glowing. Inside the stage, our hero runs toward a giant monolith. With a focused look, he braces himself as he senses something approaching. Then, a level 4 wooden creature appears and attacks him with everything it's got. But our guy summons an ice axe and attacks instantly. He slices the monster in half and taunts the others that are nearby. Suddenly, a horde of identical creatures appears, surrounding our MC. Outside, Choa questions Mendu about the stage he chose for the kid. She says that surpassing Taiwajan is impossible, and the old man teases her about her choice of words. The woman then remembers when she saw Taiwajan defeat a level 97 beast. At that moment, his eyes were cold and didn't seem human at all. She says those were the eyes of a god with immense power. Mendu agrees that the boy has potential, but is still a diamond in the rough, because if Taiwajan is a god, our hero is a demon driven by hatred. Meanwhile, Itsuki defeats the creature and notes that it was way too weak. Suddenly, a much larger, shadowy creature emerges from the shadows behind him. Our MC doesn't waste any time and attacks the new monster with his ice. He defeats the beast easily and wonders if that was all there was to the challenge. However, the system activates and detects a regeneration skill on the monster. The analysis of the ability begins, and our hero senses something is off. The monster regenerates and attacks with several vines aimed at the boy. The screen shows that the monster is now level 10, and our hero sees this won't be easy, so he uses his black ice wall to defend himself from the vine attack. The boy figures he needs to deal a massive amount of damage to stop the regeneration, so he dodges and cuts several vines with his ice blades. Next, our hero lands a powerful vertical strike right on top of the creature. The creature is split in half by the attack, but still isn't defeated. With a wicked smile, he says he's going to dice the monster up so it can't heal anymore. Then our MC uses his ice weapon to separate the two halves. With that, the monster explodes into countless pieces, and dust flies up everywhere. He's getting tired, as using the ice for so long is draining his mana. But suddenly, the creature begins to regenerate again from the pieces. The monster attacks him, and even after all that, it's still not gone for good. However, our hero notices that with each defense, the analysis percentage increases. He comes up with a plan to use his lightning and keep his distance until the analysis is complete. The analysis is at 75%, but his time is almost up, so he decides to use both lightning and ice together to speed up the process. Our guy knows that if his mana runs out before the analysis is done, it's game over for him. Even while taking hits, he stays focused as the analysis reaches 80%. He thinks that if he goes down here, it just means he wasn't strong enough. With his eyes glowing red, he prepares to unleash his most powerful attack. With one last effort, he attacks the monster but ends up getting pierced. Our guy is exhausted and has no strength left to continue fighting. His mana is depleted, but the system's analysis reaches 99%. However, he notices that Mimesis doesn't require mana and declares that victory is his. Then the analysis completes, and he learns the skill Lotus Explosion. The new ability deals area of effect damage and scales with mana consumption. Plus, it heals his wounds and increases his stats by 20 points. Our hero then prepares to activate his new and powerful ability. He brings his hands together and unleashes the full power of the Lotus Explosion. A huge fiery explosion completely consumes the creature. The monster is disintegrated, leaving nothing but dust and ashes. Our MC thinks the new skill is pretty strong and is satisfied with the result. He notices that Mimas has also restored his mana and cleared the entire area. Through the smoke, our guy sees a glowing green crystal on the ground. Outside, the receptionist is freaking out because time is running out. Choa also thinks it's impossible for him to win in under 3 minutes. But suddenly, the challenge screen turns green and shows a new record. Her jaw drops, and she can't believe what she's seeing. The screen then shows that he completed the challenge in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Our hero stumbles out of the portal and collapses on the floor, exhausted after breaking the record. The crowd is stunned that he survived and was a whole minute faster than Taiwajan. Our hero then turns to Mendu and asks if he'll be his instructor now. With a smile on his face, all bruised up, he finally calls him Professor. The old man says it was well done, and Choa notes that her father hasn't been this happy in a long time. The crowd now understands how he broke the record, but still doubts his potential. The receptionist comes over with a gift and apologizes for being so rude to him. He accepts the box and says he gets it, since a level 0 rookie did seem pretty reckless. Our guy thanks her for her concern, and the woman gets all flustered by the compliment. Suddenly, Choha announces she's heading out with the commander. She scolds him for getting cocky just because he became a student, and Mendu suggests raising the difficulty. The commander says he can now challenge an advanced stage, and the boy is intrigued. As they walk, the old man explains that level isn't the most important thing with beasts. He reveals that the main factor determining their strength is their species, because there are species with intelligence equal to or even greater than humans. Choa adds that only humans have jobs based on their species. She explains that these are the advanced stages, and his next destination is District 4. With a dark look, our hero asks if intelligent beasts feel pain. A terrifying aura emanates from him, and Choa gets scared, not understanding what he's thinking. The crowd comments that everyone who went to District 4 vanished, because of some guy named Reiji. A guy says his name out loud, and his friend shushes him, saying they could get erased. Elsewhere, a guy named Reiji Kinoshido is relaxing while an old man shines his shoe. A huge brute asks when he's going to leave, and Reiji says the stages belong to him. With an arrogant smirk, he says that waiting in line is for common folk. Meanwhile, our hero opens the box he received and sees a shiny crystal inside. Later, he's with Mendu and Choha, and realizes the crystal is from that moment. The boy shows the item and asks if the commander has ever seen a karma stone before. He says a similar stone, but a different color, dropped after he beat the beast. Our MC then takes out the green crystal to compare it with the other one. Choa is shocked because that's an intermediate karma stone. She explains that karma stones are also known as experience stones, because when a beast is defeated, it releases a substance called karma. This stone allows you to absorb karma to level up more easily, but she finds it strange, as these stones shouldn't form naturally. Mendu then says it was probably because of our guy's gift. He asks about the gift, and Choa confirms that the boy didn't level up. The commander explains that the karma wasn't absorbed, but it didn't just vanish either. So, he theorizes that the karma from the beast at the school was absorbed by those present. Choa understands that the creature's experience was split among all of them, but in the stage, the karma solidified because it had nowhere else to go. Choa then asks how his stats increase if he can't level up. Mendo then scolds Choha for the nosy question about his stats. He also announces he's leaving for a conference and that Choha will look after the boy. Then the old man gives 4 orders, like keeping everything a secret and clearing 6 stages. With a smile, our hero accepts the orders and says goodbye to his new master. In District 4, some guys in suits are blocking other awakened from entering. 2 guys are furious and say, They're not going anywhere just because he's rich. One of them threatens to report everything to the guild, but a hulking brute emerges from the shadows. Suddenly, the big guy attacks one of the young men with a super fast punch. He continues the assault with a barrage of blows, giving the poor guy no chance to fight back. The brute finishes the attack with a powerful strike that sends the young man flying. His friend is shocked because his earth spike skill didn't even scratch him. The big guy uses an ability that makes his skin hard as metal and charges forward. The young man panics because his technique can pierce anything, but it didn't work. Without mercy, the brute grabs the young man by the neck and lifts him into the air. Then he slams him to the ground with force, leaving him out of commission. The crowd recognizes him as Takuruoga, one of Reiji Kinisheta's 4 pillars. He then threatens anyone who tries to enter the stage without permission, and says that anyone who resists will meet the same fate as the 2 on the ground. His buddies in suits ask him not to go overboard with the students, but Takeru just grunts and drops the young man on the ground in disgust. Suddenly, our hero and Koa arrive and help one of the fallen guys. The crowd thinks he's in for it for being level 0 and ignoring the warning. Takeru gets furious and yells at the newbie to get out of there, or he'll get a beating too. Our guy understands that to get in, he has to defeat him, and Choa tries to intervene, but he stops her because his master told him to do what he believes is right. So our MC asked her to take care of the injured while he handles the situation. Takeru gets annoyed by the level 0 kid's audacity, and a red aura flares up. He boasts about being level 12 and having over 600 stat points. Even so, the brute gets tense from the pressure coming off our hero. His eyes widen as he sees the boy charging right at him. In the reflection of his pupil, our MC rushes forward to attack. Without giving him time to react, he lands a punch right in the bully's face. The crowd is shocked because his speed is surreal for a level 0. Our hero's fist sinks into Takeru's metallic face with force. However, the brute grabs his arm and compliments the kid's speed. Then he says he's lacking power and throws him away with a counter attack. Our MC realizes he needs to use his thunder wave to increase his agility. His system then activates mimesis to analyze the metallization skill. He gets up and realizes he needs to take this fight seriously to win. His plan is to dodge the attacks and aim for the fleshy parts of the enemy. With a burst of speed, our hero charges at the brute with everything he's got. Takeru calls him a weakling and says he has neither power nor speed. Our guy then decides to use Thunder Wave to get even faster. He unleashes his lightning, and Takeru is startled by the lightning element. Then, a flurry of electric punches hits the enemy, and the analysis bar shoots up. The crowd doesn't understand how he's using skills from another class and is amazed by his speed. Takeru gets desperate as he can't defend himself and fears he's going to lose the fight. He yells for help from his goons, but they don't do anything. With no other choice, the brute decides to use his most powerful technique. With a roar of fury, he unleashes all his energy to transform. His entire body turns to metal, and he thanks our hero for forcing him to evolve. He brags that his defense is now over 500 points, and he's even stronger. With a wicked look, he promises a quick and painless match as a thank you. The crowd loses hope, thinking this defense is impenetrable. But our MC theorizes that the transformation drains a lot of mana. Takeru is shocked by the level 0 newbie's sharp intuition. The analysis hits 100%, and the boy says he'll end this in an instant. Suddenly, the blue lotus flower appears, and Choa knows he's gotten stronger. People wonder how he's going to win with a skill that doesn't seem like an attack. He learns Piercing Orb, which ignores defense but is very slow. With a determined look, our hero says he's going to crush the brute's defense. His stats increase, and he fully heals upon acquiring the Piercing Orb. Then he creates the orb and challenges as Takaro to try and dodge the attack. The crowd is shocked that a level 0 skill is breaking through a level 12's defense. The small purple sphere then begins to float slowly through the air. It passes through the crowd at low speed, heading toward the enemy. The people find the attack underwhelming and mock the size of the little ball. Takeru also laughs and says such a weak attack won't even tickle him. He stands there, all confident, thinking this is the kid's trump card. Suddenly, the sphere hits him right in the chest without him even really noticing. The brute is startled to see his metal defense has been easily pierced. With a scream of pain, he watches the sphere pass through his body and come out the other side. Our hero says he only hit his arm because he's human. Otherwise, it would have been over. He then tells the goons to take the big guy to the hospital and get out of there. With a serious look, the boy repeats for them to get lost, once and for all. With no choice, the guys in suits grab their boss and carry him away. With victory secured, the crowd cheers and Choa is super proud. The guys who got beat up earlier invite our hero to form a party. They discuss it, as the beasts in there have a defense as high as Takaru's. Our guy understands that the stage is perfect for making his new skill faster. The guys are confused and ask which option he's going to choose. With a serious look, our hero says he'd rather go into the stage alone. They think he's getting cocky just because he beat Takaru's brute. Disappointed, the guy says he'll look for another group since he's not good enough. Choa worries about his mana, but our MC tells her not to worry. She gets all embarrassed and says she only asked so she wouldn't get an earful from her dad. Before leaving, Choa warns that the stone beasts travel in large groups. Our guy then enters the stage, and his entry is approved by the system. He's surprised because the number of monsters is much larger than he expected. Inside the stage, a horde of stone golems awaits him for battle. The screen shows the statues are level 9 and convert all their mana into defense. Our hero then prepares his piercing orb to test the skill's passive. He activates the ability, and a purple energy sphere appears in his hand. The sphere moves forward and hits one of the stone golems right in front of him. The monster is defeated, and the system informs him that the sphere's speed has increased. With a smile, he says he knew it, because the skill's passive effect worked. He's surrounded by more stone creatures, but doesn't seem worried in the slightest. With his lightning active, he says that slow targets are perfect for his new sphere. Our hero then defeats 2 more monsters, and his mana starts to get low. Only 3 enemies are left, and the stage boss still hasn't shown up. Our hero prepares to use his piercing orb and take out 2 at once. He then launches the attack with the rest of his mana, and the sphere flies quickly. Next, the boy takes advantage of the distraction to throw himself on the ground on purpose. With a wicked smile, he yells for the monsters to eat his attack. The purple energy hits one of the golems dead on and passes through its body. The system confirms that both were defeated, and the sphere's speed increases. Our MC falls to the ground, exhausted, as his mana is completely drained. He recovers and calculates that his sphere now travels at 5 meters per second. The screen shows that the skill's speed can increase by up to 500%. But suddenly, the ground trembles, and a giant foot stomps the earth in front of him. The impact kicks up a cloud of dust, and the boy is instantly on alert. Then the stage boss emerges and activates its gigantification skill. Its stats are level 15 with a total of 777 points. Our hero is shocked by its size and uses his lightning to increase his agility. He runs up the giant's body and wonders if his sphere can pierce it. With a plan in mind, he decides he's going to aim for the monster's head. Then our guy leaps toward the golem's face and finds an opening, but he realizes the sphere is too small and might not do much damage. The giant then turns its head and prepares to attack our hero in mid-air. With no way to dodge, the boy sees that the situation has gotten pretty ugly for him. At the last second, our hero uses his black wall to defend against the attack. The impact throws him to the ground with full force, and he feels the giant's strength. Even while taking a beating, he realizes the monster is tougher than he expected. His system activates and begins analyzing the enemy's gigantification skill. Elsewhere, a henchman answers his phone and is shocked by the news. Reiji Kinoshita gets annoyed by the noise and tells the guy to be quiet. The henchman apologizes, and Reiji asks what all the fuss is about. He then reports that someone defeated Takeru and forced their way into the stage. Reiji is furious because his lackey is always bragging about his impenetrable defense. His henchman says no one above level 30 would have time to go there. He also thinks it's impossible for a level 10 rookie to defeat the brute. But Reiji cuts him off and says they're going there to handle the situation. With a furious look, he tells the henchman to get a move on and not to make him repeat himself. The guy obeys instantly, and Reiji gets ready to go and teach them a lesson. He puts on his coat and swears he'll make the intruders regret messing with him. Back to the fight, the analysis reaches 100%, and the boy is relieved. The blue lotus flower appears on the giant's head and shines brightly. The analysis of gigantification finishes, but he doesn't gain a new skill. Instead, his piercing orb levels up and gains new effects. Now he can increase the sphere's size, and the speed buff has been doubled. With a smile, our hero says it's time to test out his new ability. His stats increase by another 20 points, and he fully heals again. He then uses all his mana to create the strongest piercing orb he can manage. The sphere's energy comes crashing down and hits the giant right in the middle of its head. The attack is so powerful it goes through the entire monster and opens a hole in the ground. With his mana at 0, he jokes, wondering if he went a little overboard. The system informs him that the golem has been defeated and the sphere's speed has doubled. He calculates that if he clears the stage 2 more times, his skill will be as fast as a car. Our hero then realizes that the passive effects of his skills are pretty useful, because the Lotus explosion increases the range of all his other abilities. With this, he dreams of one day being able to attack enemies from miles away. Outside, the screen shows the challenge was completed in 3 minutes. The crowd is shocked because a group of 5 would take over 10 minutes. They wonder how he's still level 0, and if the announcement was a mistake. Choa is impressed that he cleared the stage unscathed and broke the record again. She congratulates him on his speed, and he says it was easy since he could ignore the defense. A jade butterfly lands on his finger, and he asks what it is. Choa reveals that her job is a Shikigami user, and the butterfly is hers. Our hero is enchanted by the Shikigami's beauty, as it's the first time he's seen one. He then takes the opportunity to ask what other types of jobs exist. Chohao explains that jobs are divided into 4 main categories. The first are elementalists, who manipulate one of the 7 elements of nature. The bully from school was one of them, with the power of the lightning element. And Takaru, whom he just defeated, was a metal-type elementalist. The second type are Shikigami users, who summon creatures to fight for them. Choa says her Shikigami has been with her since she was born as an awakened. She then asks if he has any questions about the first 2 classes. Our hero notices that her Shikigami is level 15, and she's only level 6. Choa gets embarrassed by the comment and wonders if he has no sense of subtlety. She explains that Shikimis also absorb experience and level up. With a dark look, he concludes that it's easier to target the human in a fight. Choha gets scared by the negative aura coming from him and wonders what's wrong. Our guy then asks her to continue, since she's only introduced 2 classes. The third class is the most mysterious, as there's very little information about it. Choa reveals that this is our hero's class, the Order Breaker, and the reason for the mystery is that each one of them has completely different abilities. There are Breakers who can control their body size and even create infinite clones. On top of that, the skills of this class are Z rank, above the S rank of the others. Because of these exclusive skills, if an enemy discovers the ability, the weapon is lost. Choa then says that he is in irregular existence, even among the Breakers. Our hero then says the professor isn't here, so there's no problem talking. He asks about the last class, and Choa builds up the suspense before answering. With a smile, she says this is punishment for him not telling her anything about himself. He accepts it, and she changes the subject, saying the student he saved is fine. She asks what he's going to do now, and the boy says he wants to clear more stages. Choha warns him that stages have a cooldown time of at least 2 days. He's surprised and understands why that Kinoshita guy can monopolize the stages. Our MC then asks if there's a stage with lots of monsters for leveling up. With a mischievous smile, she says she knows the perfect place for him. She takes him to the Locust Desert, a place with over 1,000 monsters. Cho-ha warns him that without an area of effect skill, it'll be tough, but he accepts the challenge. He remembers that he hasn't used Lotus Explosion in front of her yet. Despite the warning, she's surprised by his confidence and lets him go. The people there think he's got a death wish and decide to leave. A while later, Raiji arrives at the location but doesn't find anyone there. His henchman says the target has already left and cleared the stage in 30 minutes. Raiji is furious because he feels like an idiot for being tricked. He then orders his henchman to call the hunting dog to track the mana. Filled with immense hatred, he vows to capture him alive to make him suffer. In an alley, the young man who got beat up before is hiding and regrets accepting the mission. The young man hides in the alley, thinking he managed to escape and is safe. But suddenly, a giant wolf with red eyes appears and attacks him. The creature bites down hard and lifts him into the air, with no chance to defend himself. The hunting dog appears and says, "It looks like the young man has something to say." The poor guy wonders how he was found, and the hunter answers with a smile. He says his wolf, named Death, has a great sense of smell for finding its prey. The hunting dog introduces himself as Charles and reveals that his wolf can sense death. The young man begs for his life and cries desperately, asking not to be killed. But Charles says he can't, because Kinoshita would be mad at him. With a sinister look, he says that Death hasn't eaten human flesh in a long time. Then he tells his wolf to enjoy the meal, and the beast lunges at him. After it's all over, Charles congratulates his wolf for finally leveling up. The screen shows his Shikigami is now level 16 with new abilities. He receives a call and reports that the job is done, and the target has been erased. Charles then finds out that the new prey is on its way to the Locust Desert. He calls his wolf and says a new hunt is about to begin. Meanwhile, our hero arrives at the stage and wonders if this is the right place. He sees wheat fields everywhere and doubts there are that many locusts there. Cho explains that the beasts choose environments they like to invade. She also warns that the stage is so dangerous there isn't even a receptionist. Our hero finds it strange, as level 13 is lower than the previous stage. Choha explains that the difference is that the locusts here are super aggressive. One slip up, and the awakened is surrounded by an infinite swarm of insects. And in the end, the person becomes locust food, with only a skeleton left to tell the tale. With a smile, our guy says a place full of monsters was exactly what he wanted. He assures her he's not desperate to become insect food anytime soon. Choa sees his confidence and watches him enter the stage portal alone. She thinks that if he doesn't make it, it's not her fault since she told him everything she knew. But suddenly, the woman remembers she forgot to warn him about the infinite respawn. Desperate, she decides to enter the stage to warn him before it's too late. However, when she turns around, the hunting dog and his wolf appear in front of her. With a sinister smile, Charles says he's looking for someone there. Inside the stage, our hero complains about the mess and gets ready to fight. He calls out to the pests and says, "It's time to start the extermination." A scarecrow in the middle of the field attracts a swarm of giant locusts. The screen shows they are level 1 and 2 but meet the requirements. RMC sees the absurd number of insects flying in his direction, but for him, this is perfect, as it will make his job much easier. So he creates a fire lotus and prepares to use his area of effect skill. With his ice armor on, he waits for the insects to get close before attacking. With a shout, our hero activates his Lotus Explosion and unleashes the energy. A massive explosion sweeps across the field, defeating hundreds of locusts at once. He just stands there as the insects turn to dust, and the system confirms the kills. His skill now has a range of 10.5 meters and has already accumulated 110%. He calculates that if he defeats 100 per shot, he can increase his range by 1,000%. With his man almost full, he laments the cooldown time of the previous stage. Suddenly, he realizes the challenge success notification hasn't appeared. His system activates and begins analyzing a new skill called Matriarch's Will. Our MC wonders if there are any survivors left after the explosion. Then a new swarm of locusts emerges from the ground and charges toward him. He scolds himself for thinking there wouldn't be a boss in the stage. Luckily, he can increase the skill's range, but he doesn't know where the boss is. With no other choice, he decides to keep eliminating the small fry until the big boss shows up. With another explosion, he defeats another wave of insects and increases his bonus. His skill now has a diameter of 16 meters, and he's impressed with the effect. But even after so many swarms, the stage boss still hasn't made an appearance. Suddenly, he sees several locust eggs hatching underground, and right after, a new swarm of insects erupts from the earth to attack. The analysis of the new skill is at 27%, and he continues to fight. As his mana depletes, he calculates that he only has 9 more explosions left. With his ice armor, our hero says it doesn't matter how many times they come back. He swears he will exterminate every last locust that dares to appear. Then he unleashes another lotus explosion and defeats another swarm of insects. Several notifications pop up on the screen, confirming the monster eliminations. He keeps attacking, and the multiplier on his area of effect skill increases more and more. His lotus explosion now has a diameter of 54.5 meters. He's already defeated 9 waves of insects, but only has enough mana for 1 more attack. Even so, the locusts keep coming and seem to be endless. He gets frustrated because the stage boss still hasn't shown up for the fight. Our hero thinks about retreating but gives up on the idea, as that would be a loser's mentality. With a determined look, he says no matter how many come, he will finish them all. Then he launches his final lotus explosion and uses the rest of his mana. Exhausted, he kneels on the ground and realizes his energy is at its end. But to his surprise, the number of locusts hasn't decreased one bit. The skill analysis is at 91%, and he notices a pattern. Suddenly, he understands that the boss's ability is infinite procreation. The screen then shows the locust queen, who can lay eggs in massive quantities. He knows that if he doesn't kill the source, he'll be fighting forever until he drops. The analysis finally reaches 100%, and a blue sphere of energy appears. He learns the skill Mana Sense, which allows him to feel the flow of energy. With the new skill, he realizes his detection range exceeds 1,000 meters. With a smile, he says the passive is perfect for farming in this stage, but he decides to finish up quickly, as he doesn't want to keep Chohao waiting for too long. His stats increase by another 10 points, and he fully recovers. The screen shows his total attributes are now at 1,120 points. Then he uses his Mana Sense to locate the stage boss. With the ability active, he finally finds the hidden Locust Queen. With his eyes glowing, he says he's found her and prepares to attack. He launches his piercing orb towards the queen with a confident smile. The purple sphere flies at high speed, and he yells that hiding is useless. With the Lotus passive, his sphere can now reach the target from 120 meters away. The attack hits the Locust Queen dead on, piercing her with no chance of defense. The monster tries to fight back, but our hero appears in front of it with his lightning. With a victorious smile, he says it's checkmate and prepares the final blow. He uses his ice blade and cuts the queen in half with a single strike. With the queen defeated, the locust swarm descends into total chaos. Our hero then says not to worry, because they're about to join their mommy. With his flames, he prepares to exterminate the rest of the swarm once and for all. His lotus explosion now has a radius of 65.5 meters. The screen shows that the range of his piercing orb has also increased to 131 meters. With a smile, our hero says the harvest was great, and he can't wait to come back. The screen then shows he broke the record with 17 minutes and 7 seconds. He thinks Chohao must be super worried, and that he's going to get an earful from her. Even so, he finds her serious side cute and steps out of the portal to apologize. But suddenly, his eye turns red, and he senses that something is very wrong. Outside, the hunting dog is holding Choa hostage by the neck. Charles says if she survived alone, then she must be the person Reiji is looking for. Our hero is furious and tells the hunter to get his filthy hands off her right now. The villain then laughs and calls him an arrogant rookie for being just a level 0. With his lightning active, Our MC charges at the enemy with everything he's got. Charles is startled by his speed and feels death approaching. But the wolf, Death, jumps in front and takes the lightning punch for its master. The system activates and begins analyzing the B-rank Shikigami Death Hound. Our guy understands that the guy in the hat is a Shikigami user like Choha. The analysis climbs to 12%, and Charles praises our hero's moves. He understands why Takeru lost but brags about having death and a hostage. Our hero yells Choha's name and stops his attack so he doesn't accidentally hurt her. The wolf takes the chance and lunges at our MC. Charles brags that his wolf's bite can crush any defense. He's then surprised because our hero doesn't defend himself and instead faces the beast. Our hero then uses his piercing orb and throws it right into the wolf's mouth. The purple energy blows the creature's head clean off in a brutal scene. The analysis shoots up to 77%, and the wolf falls to the ground, defeated. Charles is shocked and wonders if the newbie doesn't know the basics about Shikigamis. He then brags that his wolf, Death, has a respawn skill and is already coming back. With a wicked smile, he orders the creature to devour the boy at once. Our MC then activates his mana sense to predict the attacks. He dodges the wolf's bite, and the analysis continues to climb rapidly. His plan is to finish the copy without the blue lotus appearing and revealing his gift. Charles gets tense because he's fast and has a powerful detection skill. Unable to land a hit, the villain threatens Choha to make him stop fighting. Our guy gets worried because he needs time for the analysis to reach 100%. Finally, the copy is complete, and he learns the skill Shikigami Devourer. It allows him to control B, rank or lower Shikigamis just by touching them. His stats increase by another 20 points, but the healing effect fails. However, he doesn't care since he had already recovered from the previous challenge. The new ability allows him to steal the Shikigamis of other users. With a smile on his face, he gets ready to take the enemy's dog. With a blue aura, he dashes forward and places his hand on the wolf Death's head. Then he kicks it away, and the Shikigami begins to glow intensely. Charles gets mad at his useless wolf and complains about all the XP he spent on it. Then he threatens Choa again and says he'll break her neck if he resists. But the injured girl tells our hero not to worry about her. So our guy raises his hands in surrender and yells for him not to touch her. With a mocking smile, Charles says she wouldn't have gotten hurt if he had just obeyed. Our MC then asks why he's the target, as he doesn't remember having any beef. The hunter reveals he was sent by Reiji Kinoshita to capture him without permission. Our hero understands he needs to have a little chat with this Reiji guy. Charles then threatens him and tells his wolf to rip the boy's legs off without mercy. Without a second thought, the villain orders his dog Death to attack with all its might. He yells for the wolf to prove it's worthy of being his Shikigami once and for all. However, the dog Death now bears the lotus mark and bites its former master hard. With his speed, our hero seizes the chance and rescues Choha, carrying her in his arms. Charles screams in pain and doesn't understand why his own Shikigami attacked him. Our MC then calls the wolf a good boy, and it stands by his side. Holding the girl, he swears he'll make the villain pay 100 times over for her pain. Terrified, Charles begs and says he was just following orders and even offers to help. With his eyes red with hatred, our hero says that's a great offer, but he points out that the hunter's guard is completely down right now. Then a giant pillar of ice erupts from the ground and hits the villain with full force. With a cold look, our hero says he had his chance, and now it's over. But he warns that taking down Reiji is a job for him alone, not for his new wolf. Terrified, Charles cries and begs for one more chance, saying his hand slipped. Ignoring the crying, the dog Death lunges forward with its red eyes full of pure fury. The hunter panics and tries to remind the wolf that he was its former master. Without hesitation, the creature opens its mouth and prepares to devour its old owner. While the wolf takes care of business, our hero asks someone if the show was good. He then questions how long the person is going to stay hidden over there. And on a bridge a short distance away, a mysterious figure was watching everything from the sidelines. Suddenly, a mysterious guy shows up and says he's finally found them. Our hero holds Choa close and asks if he's friends with the guy the wolf had for lunch. The guy panics, insisting he's not an enemy and just wants him to listen. Itsuki couldn't care less and tells his wolf, Grim, to follow him after it finishes its meal. Iberi is shocked that even a rabid dog obeys him and sees a chance for help. So, he introduces himself as Iberia and recognizes him as the guy who beat Takeru. He then offers help with creation stones and even weapons. But our boy just ignores him and keeps walking with the injured girl in his arms. Iberia is confused, thinking anyone would jump at a reward like that. He then remembers his old man saying that rewards need to be useful, like medicine for the wounded or a blade for someone seeking revenge. Suddenly, it clicks, and with a smile, he finally knows what to do. He runs up, warning that if our boy keeps walking so slowly, the girl isn't going to make it. Iberia reveals that, luckily, he has a healing item and can save her right now. Our protagonist stops and stares at him, surprised, asking if it's for real. He assures him the healing is an instant, but will definitely save her life. Itsuki then lays her on the ground, and the guy starts wrapping her wound with the item. Our hero asks if that thing is an artifact, and Iberia realizes he's a total newbie. He explains that modern weapons are useless junk against the disaster beasts. That's why artisans create artifacts, which are divided into 4 categories. Common artifacts are like basic weapons, but they can hurt beasts and the awakened. Rare and epic ones boost your stats and can even have special effects. And finally, there are unique artifacts, which are the pinnacle, with incredibly powerful abilities. Iberia explains that artisans are rare, so they're highly respected by everyone. Our hero deduces that his father must be an artisan, but Iberia starts bragging. Apparently, his old man made 3 of the 10 unique artifacts that exist across the 5 continents. Because of that, his dad is known as the King Artisan of the North. But Iberia gets annoyed because our boy doesn't seem to care about the story at all. Our protagonist was actually analyzing the crossbow the hound left behind. With the weapon in hand, he thinks about how he can use it to save his mana. Iberia then says the weapon is a rare artifact, and that it generates its own ammo. Suddenly, the crossbow vanishes, and he explains that artifacts can be stored in subspace. Our hero thanks him for the healing, and says he now needs to find Raji Kinoshita. The guy is startled, since going against Reiji in District 4 is a seriously gutsy move. He then reveals they both have the same target, and our boy asks why. Iberia invites him to team up for the Saviors Tournament. Itsuki wonders what the tournament has to do with this Reiji guy. Turns out, the qualifiers will be held in District 4, which is Reiji's territory, and as the boss's son, he wants to qualify so he doesn't embarrass his family. That's why he's monopolizing the stages, and our hero asks why he should team up with him. With a serious look, Iberia begins to explain why he's in such a hurry. He says that ever since he was a kid, he watched his father forge incredible artifacts. Because of that, his dream was to become an awakened and fight with his dad's creations. And when he awakened a month ago, he asked for an artifact, but his father said no. After a ton of begging, his old man gave him a condition past the qualifiers. With a determined look, he shouts that he's going to pass the tournament no matter what. Our hero then says that with such a famous dad, he shouldn't need a level 0, but his old man forbade him from using his name to get help from powerful people. On top of that, Reiji has already bought out almost all the good participants for his team. So, he heard about the newbie who beat Takaru and tracked him down to here. Our protagonist agrees to the partnership, but says he needs to get Choa to a hospital. Iberia gets super excited and starts thinking of a name for their new duo. Our hero thinks he's a real pain in the neck, since he talks even more than his friend Riku. Meanwhile, Riku and Sayo are training somewhere else. The guy sneezes and figures someone must be talking about him right then. Sayo then asks how long it's been since the attack, and if he's doing okay. Her friend teases her for being so worried about our hero and not visiting him. With a red face, Sayo gets mad and attacks Riku with her water ability. He accuses her of a low blow, but the girl says it was his own fault for letting his guard down. Suddenly, their master appears and tells them to stop messing around because the tournament is approaching. Sayo is excited to fight other Awakened, and Riku wants to check out District 4. Elsewhere, a henchman opens a briefcase filled with creation stones. Raiji Kinoshita picks one up and finds it odd that the hound is late. Angrily, he uses the stone to gain XP and calls it useless junk. Then he tells them to forget about the hound, because the qualifiers are the priority. His goon reports that they've already recruited 887 participants. With a satisfied smile, Reiji says he's the only reliable guy he has. He then uses the last stone and finally manages to level up. Now at level 12, he gets ready to crush all these peasants. Outside a hospital, our hero stands before a mysterious figure. Our boy apologizes, saying it was his fault Choa got hurt like that. The figure then asks if he wants him to take care of the one responsible for everything. But with a determined look, our hero says that Reiji is his problem to deal with. The mysterious man agrees and asks him to fill him in on the details later. Iberi understands why our boy wasn't impressed by his father. The commander is his master. Later, our hero tells Choha that he's entering the tournament with Iberia. The girl says she's already recovered, thanks to her butterfly and the rare artifact. The mysterious man then recognizes the bandage and deduces that Iberia is Aiden's son. The guy is shocked that he knows about artifacts, and even his father. With a confident smile, he gets flustered and says that he's actually Aiden's father. The mysterious man tells him he's got it all backward, and Iberia's jaw drops. Completely embarrassed, he corrects himself and says that Aiden is, in fact, his father. The man thanks him for saving his daughter and says he'll visit him later. He then tells the two of them to get ready because he and Choha are going to watch the tournament. Excited, the boys say their goodbyes and promise they'll pass the qualifiers. Choa then comments that her father really seems to like our hero. Mendo reveals that because of his trauma, the boy has a strong self-destructive streak. But that impulse gets weaker when he has someone nearby to protect. That's why the commander placed his own daughter by our protagonist's side. Her mission is to become the person he wants to protect, and also his weakness. He then reveals that the attack at the school wasn't an accident, but was planned. The future of humanity is bleak, as the number of traitors is on the rise. However, he believes that our hero will definitely brighten that future, and that one day, he will become the true beacon of hope for everyone. The next day, the Saviors tournament finally kicks off in District 4. The crowd is blown away by the number of people, as the turnout suddenly doubled. Raiji is furious because Old Man Mendo's visit ruined all his plans. Riku and Sayo see Reiji's allies wearing red armbands and wonder if it's a new trend. A man named Soryu Fujiwara then takes the stage and starts explaining the rules. The arena is split into two areas, and each team starts at a different point. Fujiwara explains that the first phase is a race to the inner area. Everyone's bracelet will record their time and their placement in the rankings. Riku thinks the rule is pretty brutal, since thousands of people are going to be eliminated. Iberia then points to a big screen, and the announcer says they can bring 2 tools. Meanwhile, Raiji Kinoshita orders his goons to sabotage anyone who gets in front of him. Iberia comes up with a plan to get into the inner area and catch Reiji by surprise. But suddenly, the guy's jaw drops, because our hero didn't hear a word. Our protagonist simply walked up to Raiji's group and stared them down. Without a care in the world, the announcer finally declares the start of the first stage. Fujiwara is happy to see so many young people, but he knows quantity isn't quality. A guy named Sho Heighten says that back in the day, there were people over level 15. But actually in his year it was just him and the famous Jin Taiwa who participated. Shu finds it all a bore without a rookie like Taiwa, and Fujiwara says geniuses are rare. Then he asks about Mendo's new student who defeated a skeleton. The commander, who was there in disguise, confirms that the rumor is true. Shu gets super excited to meet the new prodigy and asks where he is. Fujiwara then starts searching for the kid on his tablet to find out. He dismisses Riku because his metal gift is mediocre, and he's only level 10. Sayo isn't the one either, since she's a support elementalist. So he figures the student must be some girl named Hana Hanyu with an abnormal level of 16. Fujiwara finds it strange that Hana has the highest level, but Mendu doesn't seem to care. Shu then asks if any level 0s are participating, and he confirms that there is one. Meanwhile, Riji and his goons are mocking our hero for being a level 0. With a cold gaze, our protagonist summons his crossbow and stares everyone down. Riji then recognizes him and asks with a smirk who the heck he is. Our hero then says that the villain has been looking all over for him. Riji can't believe that a piece of level 0 trash defeated his henchman, Takaro. So he orders his lackeys to grab the kid and make him regret it. Without wasting a second, Riji unleashes his lightning and says he doesn't have time to waste. On the other side, Shoheitan sees the group and realizes the fight is going to be a blowout. He tells the goons to surrender, saying they might spare their lives. Iberia gets tense, because even if he takes one down, it's impossible to beat the rest. With no other choice, he decides to use his secret trump card to help with the fight. One of Reiji's goons approaches and mocks our hero for being a level 0. With a cold look, our protagonist simply tells the guy to get out of his way. The goon is shocked by the kid's audacity and starts laughing his head off. But Shu likes his personality and says he'll save him if he's about to kick the bucket. The goon then charges forward, saying he's going to crack his head open to see what's inside. Our hero just smirks and braces for the enemy's imminent attack. Then he lands a solid punch right in the goon's face, sending him flying. With a cold glare, our hero repeats himself, "Get out of his way." Shu is stunned. He just defeated an enemy 7 levels stronger with a single blow. The other goons can't believe it and think he just caught the guy off guard. One of them then uses his fire skill, vowing to turn the kid into charcoal. The fireball speeds forward, and Iberia panics because he doesn't have time to use his artifact. The crowd thinks it's overkill to use such a strong attack against a mere level 0. But suddenly, one of the goons notices that something is very wrong here. Our hero then uses his black ice wall and defends against the attack. Iberia is impressed. He managed to block the fiery explosion. With a serious look, our protagonist tells the guy to stay away from him. His system informs him that his defense increased by 10% and his stats went up. He wants to test if the skill's passive activates by blocking the same attack twice. The goon is shocked because he's not a water elementalist, so he shouldn't be using ice. Our hero then challenges him to attack again, promising he won't defend himself. The enemy accepts the challenge and prepares to use his strongest move. With all his mana, he launches an even bigger wave of fire toward the boy. Our protagonist sees the attack and realizes that even though it's stronger, it's still just fire. The goons think that with this much power, he could rival a level 8. With not a drop of mana left, the enemy says the game is over for good. Suddenly, he sees something strange and yells that it's just impossible. With a cold stare, our hero asks if the goon really thinks he can escape. Another enemy then attacks him from behind, holding him with all his strength. Our boy doesn't even flinch and just stares at him with his black ice armor. The brute gets angry and says that if speed is his thing, then strength is his. The screen shows that the defense bonus was only 3%, not 34%. Our hero then understands that the ice passive doesn't stack against the same target. The goon comes up with a plan to drain his mana and leave him without his ice defense. Meanwhile, our protagonist realizes that Thunder Wave has the same limitation. Without wasting time, the brute attacks with a barrage of fireballs. A huge explosion happens, kicking up a ton of dust and smoke everywhere. Raiji sees that his 2 lackeys have been defeated and tells everyone to run. With an aura of lightning, our hero wonders who this guy really is. He then attacks the brute with his ice arm and ends his suffering. The enemy can't believe his attack was blocked and notices the ice's weakness. Our protagonist then vanishes and reappears in front of him in the blink of an eye. Iberia watches from a distance and sees that all the goons have been knocked out. With his test complete, our hero says it's time to end this party. He then activates his black ice wall to absorb the fireballs. His system absorbs the lightning skills, and his stats increase once again. Raiji then joins another goon and uses the skill Silver Serpent. With a smile, Iberia says he thought the fight would be tough, but the kid is strong. A goon lying on the ground wonders who he is, because he sure doesn't seem like a level 0. Our protagonist then looks confused and asks why he said, "The two of us." Iberia boasts that together, they are the duo, Double I, the strongest in the north, but our hero drags him along and tells him they need to get after Kinoshita. The remaining goon can only think about how lame that team name is. Meanwhile, Raiji assumes the level 0 must have already been defeated by his men. However, he remembers that the crossbow the newbie was using was the same as the hound's. Then one of his runners, who thinks he's all that for being fast, overtakes an opponent. The guy brags about his speed, but suddenly, something hits him hard. He falls to the ground and wonders who in the world managed to hit him at top speed. Then Raiji appears and finishes him off with a lightning attack without any mercy. The villain says that's what happens when someone runs ahead of him. He then tells his goons to regroup for the second stage. From the VIP box, a woman with glasses wonders about the arrogance of Genkai's son. Mendu says he can't do anything, as it's not against the tournament rules. Raiji takes advantage of this, using his allies to clear the path and save his stamina. With their help, he can easily pass to the second phase. Arriving at the inner area, he boasts about how surprisingly easy it all was. But suddenly, a blue bolt of lightning flashes, and someone screams his name with fury. Raiji jumps at the voice that shouted his name in the middle of the arena. He then asks who dared to call him, and his lackeys point to the newbie. The crowd parts, and our hero and Iberia walk toward them. The goons confirm that it's the same kid they fought before. Raiji can't believe they beat his men, and thinks they must have been bribed. With a look of contempt, he asks how far this level 0 trash is going to follow him. Our boy says he's not going anywhere until they settle things, but Raiji says he's busy and will leave some guys to keep them company. Then, the villain orders his army of goons to attack the duo with everything they've got. The lackeys get ready to teach the rude kid some manners. Iberia is terrified when he sees there are at least 100 enemies in front of him. However, our protagonist calmly just asks him to cover his ears. Suddenly, a massive wave of lightning erupts from our hero, hitting everyone. Raiji just watches the scene with a serious look, showing no reaction. The electric attack is so powerful it sends all the goons flying. Both Raiji and Iberia are completely stunned by the power of that ability. Our boy then says his last words weren't properly understood. With a cold stare, he repeats that Raiji isn't going anywhere until they settle their score. Meanwhile, Riku and Sayo arrive in the inner area, taking 4th and 5th place. The guy is shocked because even though they were fast, others were even better. Ahead of them are Garuo in 3rd and Shianagami in 2nd place. But the first place finisher is Hana Hanyu, a level 16 girl. Sayo and Riku start worrying about Itsuki, but suddenly they see someone flying through the air. The pink-haired girl's jaw drops at the unexpected sight. Right after, Iberia crashes hard onto the ground, landing in 6th place. All busted up on the floor, all he can do is scream our hero's name. His friends hear the scream and wonder if they really heard Itsuki's name. Riku then recognizes his friend's silhouette and says there's no doubt about it. With a serious look, our boy stares down Raiji and says he's not going anywhere. From the VIP box, Fujiwara wonders why the rookie is so obsessed with Raiji. Mendu then asks Heighten to help the boy out if he runs into trouble. Heighten is impressed by the speed and wonders if he could ever be that fast. One of Reiji's goons gets ticked off and tells our hero to get ready. He says this isn't a battle, but the execution of our main character. In other words, it's a 100 against 1 beatdown to take the kid out. Our hero then reveals that his revenge is the top priority right now. Raiji flies into a rage, and with his red eyes, he orders everyone to attack. Then all the henchmen charge towards our hero at once. One of the goons rushes forward with his fire punch, swearing our hero's head is his. But our boy catches the flaming fist with his bare hand, leaving the enemy in shock. He then throws him over his shoulder with incredible strength. The goon lands headfirst on the ground and is defeated in a single move. The others are terrified, wondering how he lost to a level 0. With a calm expression, our hero accepts the challenge, and the system activates. He then says it's time to end this nonsense, and activates his lotus. A massive fire explosion consumes all the henchmen at once. The wave of flames sweeps across the arena, sending everyone flying. His friends are stunned, wondering if that was really Itsuki's skill. The other competitors are also shocked by the power of the explosion. Even the first-place finisher Hanahanyu watches the scene in silence. In the VIP box, Fujiwara can't believe a level 0 did that and used skills from another class. Choa now understands his confidence back in the desert. He had an area of effect skill. Our hero then reveals he only used 30% of his power, so he wouldn't wipe anyone out. He stands amidst the smoke with all the fallen henchmen around him. With his eyes glowing blue, he glares at Reiji and says, "Now, it's just you." Reiji is terrified, unable to believe he defeated over 100 people. Our protagonist then says he's going to return all the pain his friend felt. Reiji gets furious and unleashes his power, saying they're on completely different levels. With a shout, Reiji launches his thunder cannon, and our hero's system begins to analyze it. But our boy easily dodges and lands a blow on the villain's back. Reiji is shocked by his speed and realizes there's no way he can win this fight. Desperate, he screams for his bodyguard, some guy named 40, to save him. The behemoth then gets ready to break the rules and help his boss. With a smirk, the villain says the kid is about to be turned into mincemeat, since 40 is level 35. In the VIP box, Mendu tells Heighten to go, and the young man obeys instantly. Our hero uses his senses and detects someone approaching at high speed. And it's not just one person, as another guy shows up for the brawl. The big guy then lands with a thud, kicking up a cloud of dust. With a focused gaze, our boy observes the new enemies who have arrived. Heighten then grabs Reiji's goon and tells our hero to continue what he was doing. With a look of pure hatred, our protagonist says the villain's lifeline has just run out. Terrified, Reiji tries to use his family's name to intimidate the kid, but with a furious roar, he gets slammed to the ground and is knocked out cold. With the villain defeated, our hero says that was for Ajaha. From the VIP box, a girl with glasses blushes at the boy's victory. Fujiwara finds it odd and asks why she's looking in that direction. Our protagonist then purposely pauses the analysis at 99%. On the other side of the arena, Sayo shouts her friend's name upon seeing him victorious. Our hero then hears a familiar voice and turns around, surprised to see who it is. He sees his friends Sayo and Riku running towards him for a reunion. The pink-haired girl calls for him to come inside and get out of the falling rain. With tears in her eyes, she worries that he might catch a cold. The system then announces that he placed 7th in the first phase. Iberia and Riku arrive and hug the boy, relieved that he's okay. But Riku gets annoyed with Iberia and glares at him with lightning in his eyes. With a smile, Iberia introduces himself as our hero's new partner. The friend with glasses calls him a traitor, and Sayo finds it strange that Itsuki is making friends. Iberia brags about being his partner, but Riku asks for the doe's name. Riku then says they have a team name, and Iberia challenges him to say it. With great pride, he reveals the name is Duo I, but Itsuki tells him to stop. The friend with glasses laughs in his face and says the team name is pretty lame. From the stage, Fujiwara announces that the first 500 have passed, and the rest are eliminated. He explains that in the second phase, everyone will fight alone for 1 hour. Iberia is terrified at the thought of fighting the beasts by himself. In the VIP box, Heighten is excited for the second phase and wants to see what they've got. The screen shows the top 7 finishers from the first phase of the tournament. Next, the gigantic arena for the second phase is revealed to everyone. The group then gets ready and walks towards the entrance of the new challenge. Riku comments that the place is a bit creepy and asks if his friend's level is really 0. The friend with glasses then asks how he gets stronger without leveling up, and our hero just smiles. Sayo gets annoyed and tells the boys not to pay him any mind. Suddenly, the tournament judges appear and Fujiwara asks if everyone is ready. Iberia's jaw drops as he recognizes the people who just arrived. The crowd recognizes legends like Fujiwara and the veteran Highton. Fujiwara then begins to explain the rules for the second stage of the tournament. He reveals that points vary depending on the difficulty of the monsters, and after each victory they get a 1-minute rest before the next round. The brute Gakuwo, full of himself, says he's going straight for the nightmare class. Our hero then raises his hand because he has a question about the test. The crowd around him scoffs, thinking the kid is going to back out of the fight. Fujiwara then allows the question and tells the boy to say what's on his mind. Our protagonist then asks if the nightmare class is the maximum difficulty. With a smile on his face, Highton finds the rookie's question quite interesting. The crowd continues to mock him, doubting he could even beat the beginner mode. Fujiwara explains that, in theory, there's no difficulty limit for the beasts. Riku thinks it's pointless to even consider it, since the nightmare class is already so tough. Finally, he reveals that today's points will count towards the main tournament. The group gets excited by the news, and Iberia says he'll have to use his trump card. Our hero remembers Taiwajan's record of 115,000 points. Then the announcer tells everyone to enter the arena for the second phase. Alone in the area, he finds the place looks a lot like the other stages. Suddenly, a pack of level 1 rabid dogs appears to attack. He activates his black ice, wanting to finish off the creatures quickly. In the VIP box, Highton questions Fujiwara for monitoring the kid again, but with a smile, Highton says that our hero is much more interesting. Fujiwara gets annoyed with his excitement and says the show is about to begin. With a single blow, our protagonist defeats all the dogs in the arena. Fujiwara is shocked because it took him only 1 second to clear the stage. Highton then boasts, saying he told him the kid was way cooler. The old man thinks the victory was easy because the next opponent is level 8. A giant fire salamander appears and stares him down with a hungry look. Highton doesn't think a level 8 monster will be much of a threat to him. Fujiwara then changes the subject and asks to see the other participants. He says that most are still fighting the beginner monsters. The only one keeping the same pace as our hero is the girl, Hanahanyu. Suddenly, the girl with glasses screams in terror, drawing everyone's attention. Our protagonist is then engulfed by the giant salamander's flames. Highton stops the old man from calling the medical team, as he has faith in the boy. With his black ice activated, our hero protects himself from the salamander's flames. He then uses his ice blade and easily slices the monster in half. The creature is split into 2 parts and falls defeated on the arena floor. The system then announces that it took him 5 seconds, and he earned 500 points. Fujiwara doesn't understand why he took the hit on purpose, and Highton smiles. Our protagonist then reveals that he needs to use these chances to increase his stats. The screen shows that his defense is now at 434 points. He ignores the rest time and decides to test his defense on the next monster. Highton comments that this difficulty tests speed and combat sense. Then an electric rhinoceros appears and Fujiwara calls it an Aleki rhino. If the creature's horn hits him, the awakened would be pierced due to a lack of defense, or they would be paralyzed by the lightning for not having electrical resistance. The old man says that to win, one must use speed and attack when it's tired, but suddenly, he's shocked by our hero's unexpected move. Our protagonist simply walks up to the beast and touches its horn. With a smile, he says that horn is perfect for testing his defense. The rhinoceros gets angry and unleashes all its electrical energy for an attack. With a single blow, the creature sends our hero flying with its horn. Our boy is then launched high into the air by the force of the impact. From the VIP box, the girl with glasses screams his name, horrified by the scene. Highton comments that the boy's actions are unpredictable, but always seem to work out. An explosion of ice occurs, protecting our hero from the rhinoceros's attack. The system informs him that his agility increased by 5% from the hit. With his eyes red, our hero says it's time to settle this. He then activates his thunder wave, and his agility increases by 50%. The rhinoceros gets angry and prepares to charge the boy once more. Our protagonist then dodges the blow and gets ready to counter-attack. With his ice blade, he defeats the beast and earns 1,000 points in 7 seconds. Heighten is impressed by his speed and thinks he didn't even use his full power. Mendu, who was there in disguise, reveals that the next monster is very dangerous. The creature has sharp claws that can tear enemies apart in the blink of an eye. On top of that, its giant mouth spews iron chains and swallows everything it sees. Its body is also covered in a very tough exoskeleton armor. With all these attributes, the monster is the strongest beast in the preliminaries. The level 15 Purgatory Giant emerges and glares at our hero with hatred. Our protagonist then activates his piercing orb for the attack. The purple energy passes through the monster and the skill's speed increases by 200%. In the VIP box, the judge's jaws drop at the overwhelming victory. The screen then shows that the orb's speed has increased by 900%. In just 3 seconds, he earns 5,000 points and moves on to the next challenge. Elsewhere, a monster shoots a powerful stream of water from its mouth. Meanwhile, Sayo uses her water bullet to advance to the next class. The brute Ga-Q also skips the rest period to be the first one to get there. As for the first place finisher, Hana Hanyu, she prefers to recover her mana before continuing. Suddenly, the screen shows that the Nightmare class was cleared in 21 seconds. Everyone is shocked and wonders who the guy was that managed such a feat. Our hero then says it's time to move on after his victory. In the VIP box, Fujiwara can't believe he defeated a level 15 giant. With a smile, Heighten tells them to increase the difficulty to see how far the kid can go. The second stage then begins with 2 Purgatory Giants, and our hero is unfazed. The 2 immense creatures appear in the arena and charge forward with everything they've got. But our boy decides to take one of them out while they're still roaring. With his piercing orb, he defeats the first giant and increases its speed. Fujiwara is stunned and wonders if his skill has any limits at all. However, Heighten reveals that the ability does have a very fatal flaw. Suddenly, the second giant charges at the boy with absurd speed. Our protagonist is startled, as the creature is faster than any other. Mendu explains that giants are often mistaken for being slow because of their size. Without wasting any time, our hero prepares another piercing orb for the attack. He then launches his skill just as the monster was getting close. Heighten explains that the giants don't use mana, but their other stats are better. The screen shows that the monster has a total of 940 stat points. The giant then dodges the purple orb, and our hero is surprised by its speed. Mendo realizes the orb is slow, and the boy used the beast's roar as an opening to attack. The monster then strikes with a powerful punch, and our protagonist dodges with a jump. The force of the blow is so great that it creates a massive crater in the arena floor. A rock explosion happens, kicking up a lot of dust and debris. Our hero then realizes the orb can be dodged at mid-range. Heighten says that if he uses the skill knowing it won't hit, it means he's out of tricks. With a smile, our protagonist says that since the beast is fast, he'll just get closer. He then activates his thunder wave and charges straight at the giant. With his speed, he easily dodges all of the monster's attacks. The giant is then surrounded by lightning and can't land a single hit. From the VIP box, the girl with glasses is stunned by the boy's agility. Fujiwara panics because the attack is much stronger than the rhinos. However, Mendu stops him from calling the rescue team and tells him to wait. Heighten agrees, saying the power is great, but it's useless if it doesn't hit. The giant's fist then stops just inches from the ground, missing its target. The creature kneels, defeated, and can no longer move to fight. With a smirk, the monster looks at our hero and beckons him to come closer. The giant then turns its head, surprised by our hero's audacity. With a jump, our protagonist lands the piercing orb right on the beast's head. With his lightning active, he prepares the final blow to end the fight. The purple energy then pierces through the monster's skull, finishing it for good. The system reports that the orb's speed increased by 1,300%. With the victory, he earns 10,000 points in just 12 seconds of fighting. In the VIP box, the girl with glasses shouts his name, thrilled with the victory. Fujiwara finds her excitement strange and says it's rare to see her so animated. All embarrassed, she makes up an excuse, saying she was just cheering. Mendu then gets a bit awkward at the scene and says she's become more talkative. Heighten then asks why the boy dodged the giant's attacks. He explains that our hero's normal speed is similar to the monster's, but when he activates his electricity, his speed increases dramatically, and with that, the giant's attacks can no longer hit him. Fujiwara says that even so, he's already secured first place with his points, but to surpass the strongest man, our hero can't stop here. With a determined look, he shouts that he can't stop, not even for a second. The third stage begins, and now there are 3 purgatory giants to face. With his purple orb, he defeats the first monster in a single shot. Heighten then smiles, because the boy chose to continue, and he expected nothing less. Fujiwara remembers that Heighten made it all the way to stage 4 in one go back in the day. The old man then wonders how our hero will fare, since Heighten's limit was stage 3. One of the giants then attacks with full force, and our hero prepares to dodge. With his speed, he dodges the punch, and the monster smashes the ground. He uses his thunder wave and closes in to attack the second giant. With his piercing orb, he defeats the second one and increases the speed. Our protagonist then says that for the third one, he'll use a different strategy. He then throws himself forward and is swallowed by the last giant in the arena. The monster clamps its mouth shut, thinking it has won. The creature then celebrates, thinking it has finally defeated its enemy. With his red eyes, our hero says he's going to tear it apart from the inside out. A massive fire explosion occurs, completely consuming the giant. The system reports that the skill's range increased by over 1,100%. With the victory, he earns 15,000 points in 13 seconds of fighting. From the VIP box, Fujiwara is shocked because the boy used the same skill from the first phase. The fiery explosion sweeps the arena, leaving nothing of the last giant. Our hero is then exhausted, as his mana has completely run out, but he knows his skill's passive will recover his energy quickly. The fourth stage begins, and now there are 4 giants for him to face at once. Heighten says that if he passes this stage, he will surpass even his younger self. Heighten is anxious and wants to see how far the kid can go in this fight. Our hero realizes that as the orb's speed increases, so does its accuracy. With a few more boosts, he'll be able to hit the creatures from a distance, but he knows his mana is limited, and he can't afford to miss a single shot. Suddenly, one of the giants spews chains from its mouth and traps him. Our protagonist is surrounded by the chains and can't move. He's surprised by the attack, as he didn't expect chains to come out of the beast's mouth. The giant then pulls him in and hits him with a powerful punch. The blow sends him flying into the arena wall with great force. Unable to move, he's caught by the monster and is in a bad spot. The giant then squeezes him with its claws, preparing for the final blow. Under the pressure, our hero's body begins to be crushed by the grip. The force is so great that the giant manages to punch a hole in the arena. Our protagonist then falls to the ground, all beaten up and with no strength left. Desperate, Fujiwara tells Heighten to help him before it's too late. Heighten wonders if this is the end of the line for our protagonist. He then remembers when he too was defeated in one of his fights. Without a second thought, he prepares to enter the arena and save him, but suddenly Mendu stops him, saying the boy hasn't given up yet. Fujiwara panics, because if they don't save him now, he's going to be a goner. Mendu says he can sense that the boy still has an ace up his sleeve. Fujiwara is confused, and the commander reveals that he knows this because of his eyes, because those are not the eyes of someone who has accepted their end. With a look of pure fury, our hero says there's no way he's going down here. He then remembers that during the fight with Rigi, he started analyzing his skill, but he stopped the analysis on purpose right at the very end, at 99%. The analysis finally reaches 100%, and he says he's been waiting for this moment. The girl with glasses sees the blue lotus and wonders what good it is now. Heighten finds her reaction odd and wonders if she already knew something. The new skill allows him to absorb lightning attacks, and increase his agility by 100%. On top of that, the ability boosts his stats and fully recovers his health. A blue lotus flower appears and heals all of our protagonist's wounds. With a smile, he says the warm-up is over, and it's time to fight for real. Fujiwara is shocked because he recovered faster than a healer. With his new powers, he easily defeats the giants of the 4th stage. The screen shows that he completed the challenge and earned 20,000 points. Without wasting time, he defeats another giant with his piercing orb. Now his orb travels at 27 meters per second, and he moves on to the next. He then defeats the monsters of the 5th stage and earns 25,000 points. In the 6th stage, he defeats 6 more giants and earns another 30,000 points. In the VIP box, the judges are left speechless and completely exhausted by the fight. The arena has turned into a real hellscape, with a mountain of defeated giants. Our hero then lies on the ground and wonders why the monsters stopped coming. Fujiwara is in shock and says he never expected anything like this. With no other choice, he presses the emergency button to stop the challenge. With the microphone in hand, he informs our boy that the test is over. The old man then reveals that he defeated every single giant they had in stock. Atop the pile of monsters, Fujiwara shouts that he took out all the giants. Our hero is confused and asks how, since he thought there was no limit. Tired, he wonders how many points he scored and hopes to close the gap with Taiwajan. But he accomplished his goal of increasing the speed of his piercing orb. Now the skill travels at 38 meters per second, faster than a car. With his blue aura still active, our protagonist stares at the empty arena. His eyes glow with power, but he seems to be thinking about something else. Suddenly, he remembers an important detail he had completely forgotten. Since he doesn't level up, the monster's experience turns into karma stones. In the VIP box, Heighten is shocked by the blue stone, and Mendu explains how it was formed. Heighten realizes the advantage of this, and Fujiwara is terrified by the boy's power. Relieved that he's human, our hero picks up the karma stone with a smile. With his objective complete, he says it's time to leave and heads for the door. The giant metal door then begins to open to the arena's exit. On the other side, Fujiwara tells the others that our protagonist is coming out. The screen shows his score of 106,000 points, securing first place. Fujiwara then praises him highly and offers him an instructor to train his potential. But our hero refuses, as he already has a master, and the old man insists on the offer. Heighten then butts into the conversation and tells Fujiwara to stop bugging him. He also thanks him for taking care of the goons, and Heighten says he only punished those who broke the rules. Heighten then reveals that he is a student of Mendu Izumi, which is why he helped. Fujiwara's jaw drops, and our hero thanks Heighten for the help. With a smile, Heighten confirms the information, leaving the old man even more shocked. Our protagonist then turns and greets his master who was there. The girl with glasses congratulates him and offers to call Aja if he's injured. With a smile, he says he's fine and just needs some rest to recover. Fujiwara understands everything and remembers that Mendo's other student also cleared stage 2. Our hero then asks if Taiwa also reached stage 6 of the tournament. The old man explains that the second phase has only just truly begun for the others. In another arena, Riku finishes the hard class and gives up on nightmare mode. Sayo also uses her water sphere, but runs out of mana to continue the test. Our hero is surprised, but Fujiwara tells him not to judge the others. He then asks why they didn't leave, and the old man explains the rules. Heighten comments that other participants managed to reach nightmare mode. With his artifact, Gakuo manages to defeat a purgatory giant. Meanwhile, Shion Akagami and her Shikigami are attacked by a monster, but her creature begins to transform into its complete and terrifying form. With its red eyes, the beast turns into a giant werewolf and faces the enemy. Without any difficulty, the Shikigami defeats the monster with a single punch. Our hero asks if Aegea's butterfly does that, but the girl says it doesn't. Our hero realizes that Shikigamis are quite strong and remembers his own dog. Since his friends have left, he decides there's no reason for him to stay there anymore. But suddenly, he notices something strange happening in one of the arenas. It's Iberia, who has activated a red armor, and our boy thinks it was a gift from his father. With a smile, Iberia reveals that it's his father's strongest epic armor. The screen shows the stats of the dragon gear, which increases attack and agility every minute. He explains that the armor has a will of its own, and that he suffered a lot to get it, but the armor has a 15-minute limit, and he needs to end the fight quickly. His stats then increase by 120 points, and he goes on the attack. Iberia remembers the announcement and motivates himself not to disappoint his new partner. With the doe's name in his head, he charges at the monster with everything he's got. Our protagonist watches the scene and thinks his new friend looks pretty stylish. Suddenly, a voice announces that the second phase of the tournament is finally over. Fujiwara explains that only the top 10 advance, and the top 2 will win a prize. On the ground, Gakuo gets all cocky and already considers himself the owner of the reward. With a serious look, the old man prepares to announce the top 10 finishers. The screen then shows the final scoreboard, and our hero is in first place by a long shot. The others are shocked, as he scored over 100,000 points, all by himself. Gakuo can't believe he came in third and wonders who Itsuki Tenma is. Elsewhere, a green-haired girl also takes an interest in our hero. Sayo is shaken by the power difference between her and our protagonist. Meanwhile, it's revealed that our boy placed first in the entire country. The girl with glasses notices that her father is very happy with the test results. On the ground, Iberia celebrates, as he already knew his new partner would be the winner. But he's also proud for not having shamed the name of Duo I. Our hero then congratulates him and says he was surprised by his performance. With a goofy look on his face, Iberia is left speechless by his friend's compliment. And so, the preliminaries of the Alliance tournament finally come to an end. With the test over, our protagonist carries his past out friend on his back. Meanwhile, in District 1 of the Southern Continent, an old man meditates in a square. A soldier complains about having to stand there, but his friend tells him to shut up. The old man's name is Barger, and he's known for being a powerful prophet. The soldier then questions why he doesn't just tell them where the monoliths will fall. His friend explains that he only sees a fraction of the future, but is as respected as Mendo Izumi, because the success rate of his prophecies is 100%, without a single failure. Suddenly, the old man collapses and shouts that the northern continent is in danger. He reveals that a beast attack is going to happen, and one of them is level 100. At night in a flower garden, someone starts a conversation with our hero. The screen shows that his total stats have surpassed 1,500 points. This is an incredible feat, as the normal gain is 50 points per level. With this, our hero is compared to a level 30 awakened. Additionally, his passive skills continuously increase his defense and agility, but his attack power is the only thing that he can't increase for now. Our protagonist is then caught off guard by a familiar voice. From outside, Riku calls him to eat, saying he made his favorite dishes. He decides to put the problem aside, as he might get an attack skill later. Then, everyone gathers at the table to enjoy the feast Riku has prepared. Our hero notices a friend's absence and asks where Iberia is. Aja explains that she healed him, but he was exhausted and is still sleeping. Riku is surprised that a level 7, like him, passed a phase that they couldn't. Suddenly, Sayo gets scared and points to something behind her friend. A sinister shadow with a red eye appears behind Riku without him noticing. In a spooky voice, the creature asks for food, making everyone tense. But it turns out it was just Iberia, who woke up and sat down at the table to eat. Riku gets annoyed because he scared him, and on top of that, is eating without asking. With his mouth full, Iberia just asks for more food with his empty bowl. The friend with glasses then gets really mad and asks if he wants to fight. Iberia then devours the food with a smile and says it's delicious. Riku then brags, saying he got his energy back thanks to his cooking. Iberia suggests he should become a chef, since he has more talent for that than for fighting. Suddenly, Mendu interrupts and says he wants to ask the group a question. He then asks everyone at the table what their greatest fear is. Rikyu says his dream is to be a savior so he can travel the world and eat well. Therefore, his greatest fear is growing old and no longer having the energy to travel. Just the idea of getting old and losing his sense of taste terrifies him. Mendu then turns to Sayo and asks what her fear is. She reveals she was born into a family of doctors and grew up in a hospital. Because of this, she saw many people suffering from illnesses from a young age. This experience became a trauma, and now she's afraid of even a common cold. Our hero then understands why she ran away when he sneezed the other day. The scene shows him sneezing and the girl running away, terrified of the situation. Mendu comforts her, saying that the awakened live twice as long and rarely get sick. Next, he turns to Iberia and asks what his fear is. He reveals that his biggest fear was not passing the tournament qualifiers, but now his fear is not being able to fight alongside his friend Itsuki. With a smile, he passes the question to our hero, who gets a little flustered. Everyone at the table stares at him, and Sayo says she can't imagine what he fears. Our hero then reveals that he was anxious about how he would survive on his own. He explains that anger and sadness overwhelmed him when he was alone in the dark. In his flashback, he was crying until Sayo and Riku appeared before him. His childhood friends find him and try to cheer him up with some food. With tears in his eyes, he says their kindness pulled him out of that negative world. After that, he also met Mendu Aja and even Iberia. He felt like he had finally gained true companions by his side. Looking at everyone, he says that his family had actually grown much larger. With a smile, he reveals that this sense of relief was something he hadn't felt in a long time. Finally, he tells everyone that his greatest fear was ending up living alone. Agia blushes, noticing that his aura is now calm and gentle. Iberia then gets emotional and hugs his friend, promising never to leave him again. Mendo explains that the question was to see if they would regret becoming saviors. He says that a savior's ultimate goal is to depart without any regrets. He then tells everyone to eat up, since Sayo and Rikyu are going home tomorrow. The next morning, the group says their goodbyes and promises to meet at the national tournament. Our hero then finds the sudden closeness between Iberia and Riku strange. He decides to head back, remembering he had a question for Sayo, but leaves it for later. Suddenly, he realizes that Aja has disappeared and is no longer with the group. He then sees her running in a great hurry and wonders what the reason is. Mendu then asks what happened, and Agia says she has information from the south. She explains that the access level is high, and only level 50 saviors can know. Mendu then allows her to tell them, and Iberia is surprised by his trust. Aja reveals that a prophecy was made by the commander of the southern continent. Our hero doubts the prophecy, but Iberia says it's like a confirmed future. Aja asks her father to leave the north, but he says he is the target of the attack. Because of this, he would serve as the perfect bait to attract the beasts. She insists that he flee, but our protagonist agrees and offers to fight. Mendu makes up his mind and asks our hero to do something else instead of fighting. Our boy's mission is to protect Iberia's father, the most skilled craftsman. Our protagonist finds this strange and thinks his master wants him away from the fight. Mendu then turns to his daughter and reveals he has 3 requests for her. The first is to warn the residents and safely evacuate those with low levels. With his red eyes, he orders Heighten to come to District 1 of the North. Agia then tells her father that she has already made the preparations and Heighten is on his way. With a curious look, she continues to stare at her father without saying a word. She then asks why he sent our hero there, since Aiden already has guards. All embarrassed, she realizes her father saw right through her intentions. Mendu explains that a level 100 beast will appear, and our hero would reveal his hand. Furthermore, he reveals that our hero lacks attack power, but Aiden has an artifact. With that item in hand, a perfect awakened will finally be born to fight. At 8 in the evening on the first day, the monoliths fall on the northern continent. In District 2 of the North, our hero and Iberia run through the dark forest. Our protagonist is worried because the beasts could attack at any moment. Suddenly, Iberia gets startled and shouts for our boy to look at the sky. Our protagonist then turns and also sees what spooked his friend. A flaming monolith then crashes down right in the center of the city. A huge explosion of light occurs, consuming the surrounding buildings. Our hero is concerned, as the civilian evacuation is still underway. In the city, the awakened panic, because the beasts arrived way too early. The barrier begins to form, and he finds himself in a dilemma between the mission and the civilians. He knows Iberia is exhausted, but hasn't asked to stop because of his father. Iberia then says they should go help, because without a strong awakened, many will be lost. With a smile, Iberia changes the plans, and our hero agrees to help. Suddenly, a stone fist erupts from the ground and attacks the awakened. A level 21 fire golem then appears and faces the heroes. The group realizes the fight will be tough, even with 3 level 15s. One of the awakened uses his stone shield and tells everyone to hold the formation. With the shield in front, he tells the others to look for an opening to attack. But the golem unleashes a blast of fire and easily destroys the shield. The awakened is shocked, as he didn't expect so much power in a single blow. His friends panic because if the tank was defeated, they don't stand a chance. One of them then tells everyone to run, as fighting is just throwing their lives away. With a smirk, another says the coward is the one who needs to be careful here. But suddenly, he's surprised by a creature that appears behind him. Terrified, he begs for his life but uses his water cannon to attack. He brags about being the natural enemy of fire creatures, but is defeated. His friends see the fallen golem and prepare to deliver the final blow. But the one who attacked gets cocky and says he'll finish the beast himself. Suddenly, the golem gets back up and glares at the awakened with a look of hatred. The monster then unleashes a massive fire blast, and everyone thinks it's the end. But a wall of ice appears, protecting the awakened from the golem's attack. With the arrival of reinforcements, one of the awakened says everything will be okay now. Our hero then tells Iberia to evacuate the civilians, and his own defense increases. Iberia brags and says that one day he'll be stronger than Jin Taiwa himself. One of the awakened gets annoyed by the boy's audacity and calls him a brat. The other awakened find our hero's ice armor strange. With his armor active, our protagonist remembers a piece of advice from his master. Mendo had warned him that his black orb is powerful but too slow to be practical. He advised our hero to save the skill as a trump card for emergencies. Because of this, he can't use his piercing orb in the middle of a crowd. With his armor and lightning, our hero charges straight at the golem. He then lands a powerful kick, sending the monster flying with ease. His thunder wave is activated, and he continues the combo on the enemy. The golem tries to fight back, but can't land a single hit on the boy. With a final punch, our hero slams the monster to the ground, kicking up a lot of dust. He then uses his lightning and delivers a final blow to the fallen golem. A huge explosion occurs, and the monster is defeated in a single hit. The civilians are shocked and can't believe a kid defeated the monster. One of the awakened is also stunned by the boy's power. He doesn't understand how a level 21 golem couldn't even touch him. Our hero then turns to leave, and the awakened notices he's gone. One of them then boasts, saying the kid only won because of their help. After the victory, our hero and Iberia continue on their way to find Aiden. Our hero then realizes he needs to increase his attack power somehow. The screen shows his attack is 330, but his agility is 760. Iberia praises his friend's speed, but our hero says it means nothing without power. Tired, Iberia is surprised because he had never thought of it that way before. Our protagonist then says there's a good way to increase his attack power. Iberia reveals that his father's workshop is full of artifacts to help his friend. With a goofy smile, he imagines our hero all geared up in incredible armor. Our boy finds the laugh strange, but notices that his friend is very tired. Suddenly, he picks him up and tells his friend not to push himself so hard. Without waiting for reply, our hero takes off running with Iberia in his arms. The night continues, and the moon illuminates their path through the dark forest. They finally arrive, and Iberia complains that his arms nearly fell off on the way. Iberia explains that his father lives in the forest because the city is too noisy. He also reveals that the house is full of traps, and our hero can sense the mana. His friend tells him to stay close, but our boy knows he can dodge them with his senses. With a smile, Iberia brags that it's finally his turn to lead the way. He then starts walking confidently along the path, covered in dry leaves. But he gets carried away and forgets about a trap right in front of him. The ground starts to shake, and Iberia panics at the most annoying trap. Suddenly, an epic iron golem emerges from the earth to attack. Our hero's jaw drops, as he didn't expect a humanoid artifact. Without wasting a moment, the creature charges and attacks Iberia with a powerful punch. But our hero dodges with a jump, saving his friend from the golem's blow. The impact of the punch creates a crater in the ground and kicks up a lot of dust. He gets annoyed that even an artifact has more attack power than him, but he can't destroy it. Our protagonist then asks if there's a way to stop the creature. Iberia reveals that the karma stone on the golem's chest is its weak spot. With a smile, our hero activates his thunder wave and goes on the attack. With his speed, he dodges the blows and hits the golem's weak spot. He gets close and prepares to rip out the karma stone with his bare hands. Using his lightning, he phases through the iron armor and gets close to the stone. He then rips out the golem's power source, deactivating it instantly. The creature then stops moving and stands motionless in the middle of the forest. With the stone in hand, our hero stares at the shadow of the defeated golem. Suddenly, Iberia yells for him to stop, as the golem belonged to some guy named Jusuk. A man appears out of nowhere and attacks our hero with his giant sword. The young man dodges at the last second, and the man is shocked by his speed. The man named Jusuk Bokudo apologizes and says he thought they were bandits. He wonders who our hero is, since he didn't sense his mana until the attack. Our protagonist is also surprised because the man's sword vanished. Iberia then introduces him, and our boy asks where his father is. Jusuk reveals that the master is out back, and that they should be careful. With a furious look, Iberia's father stares at the boys without saying a word. Iberia brags to his father, saying he passed the tournament qualifiers. He then demands the promised reward of choosing any artifact he wants. But suddenly, his father slaps him across the face, leaving him in shock. Iberia then asks why he hit him, and the old man gets even angrier. The craftsman yells at him, accusing him of stealing his dragon gear. The old man explains that using the armor for too long has serious consequences. Furious, Iberia swears he'll never use anything made by him again and storms off. The craftsman then turns to our hero and asks if he's Mendo's student. Our protagonist introduces himself and explains the reason for his visit. The old man finds it strange, as Mendo rarely takes on disciples to train. Suddenly, he notices something and stares at our hero with a surprised look. The screen shows that the old man realized our boy's level is fixed. The craftsman asks if he's faking his stats, and our hero denies it. With a serious look, the old man understands why his master requested that specific item. He reveals that his master always demands something in return for his favors. Our hero is confused, because his master never mentioned anything about a deal. The old man then reveals that his master requested an item in exchange for protection. Our hero is surprised and wonders why his master would ask for a defective product. The craftsman explains that the critical crystal was made to increase an Awakenid's attack, but suddenly a crack appeared, and the item became a broken product. The broken critical crystal increases attack by 10 times, and the critical rate resets. With the help of the item, our hero now has a way to boost his attack power. The old man understands his master's move, and says the item is perfect for him. With the item in hand, our hero's attacks will be strengthened tenfold. He then equips the item, and a golden aura completely envelops him. He realizes that the critical rate only increases by defeating stronger enemies. The screen shows the item's details and how it works for our hero. With a smile, our hero says thanks, and that the item will be a huge help. The old man says there's no need to thank him, as they both fight for humanity. Suddenly, an attack occurs, and Josuke is sent flying by a single blow. Our protagonist then dodges the attack and prepares for a fight. Iberia is startled by the surprise attack and wonders what just happened. Suddenly, a green barrier appears, surrounding the entire dark forest. The old man finds it strange, since only the commanders of the 5 continents know his location. Josuke warns everyone to stay back, because the beasts are coming. With his eyes glowing, our hero senses something approaching at high speed. He can sense 6 monsters approaching, but suddenly there are 8. A level 14 one-horned demon appears and charges to attack. Our protagonist then dodges the blow and prepares to counter-attack. With his ice wall, he protects himself and easily defeats the creatures. He realizes he can't use his lotus, because the explosion could be dangerous. Josuke would also be hit, as he's too close to the battle. On top of that, Iberia and his father are hiding in the cabin right behind him. The skill could hit them both, so he can't risk it. In the midst of the monster horde, he realizes that fighting alone is better. Suddenly, he senses a new wave of magical power, much stronger than before. A level 24 two-horned guardian beast emerges for the fight. Elsewhere, the demons prepare to send the first wave of attack. One of the leaders asks which of the 8 demon kings will command the main force. With an eye he left behind, he had noticed our hero's existence. One of the 8 demon kings, named Yama, Raja, volunteers for the mission, but the leader decides to send a demon general instead, not wanting to risk losing his eye. He then decides to hand over command of the main force to another demon. The chosen one is one of the 8 demon kings, a giant man-eating ape. Suddenly, our hero hears Iberia's voice and wonders if a beast somehow got into the room. Right after, a level 24 two-horned guardian monster pops up, ready to throw down. With a dark look, our boy decides he has no choice but to use that thing. He also realizes the creature's attack power is higher, which could actually boost his hit rate. The system then shows that his broken crystal increases his hit rate by 1% with every victory. So our MC activates his piercing orb to test out his new skill. The purple energy drills through the monster, taking it down with a single clean hit. Just like that, his critical rate increases to 1%, and he sees the plan worked perfectly. Our hero then tells Josuke to handle things out there, saying he'll take care of the beast in the room. Using his lightning-fast speed, he zips toward the cabin to save his friend. Inside, Iberia is on the ground, facing a horned demon that has him cornered. He's bummed, because without his dragon gear, there's just no way he can win. With few options left, he braces himself for whatever is coming next. The creature then closes in, and the kid screams for our hero to help him. But out of nowhere, his dad, Aiden, appears and parries the attack with a giant hammer. Iberia is in total shock, because his dad isn't a fighter, yet he doesn't seem the least bit scared. The craftsman stares down the creature, which looks furious about the interruption. Without breaking a sweat, the old man sends the monster flying with a single swing. Our MC then arrives, and his new father-in-law leaves the rest to him. And with his wall of black ice, our hero pierces the monster's chest with everything he's got. Aiden then apologizes for the delay and asks about the situation outside. Our boy says he doesn't sense any more mana, and that Josuke must have already taken care of everything. From a distance, they see all the bodies, and Iberia is shocked by Josuke's strength. However, Josuke says there's no time to relax, because the barrier is still up. With a serious look, he says he'll take down the beasts, while destroying the barrier. But our hero stops him and tells him to protect Aiden and Iberia right there. The craftsman then notices the intense look in the boy's eyes. It's not fear, but a thirst for battle. So Aiden decides to leave the barrier for our MC to handle all by himself. Josuke asks if he's sure about this, since a green barrier has beasts up to level 260. Like a bolt of lightning, our hero dashes off to attack, completely unfazed by the danger. He then says he can finally fight without having to hold back anymore. Iberia decides to go too and asks Josuke to look after his dad while he's gone. However, Aiden stops him, telling him to quit messing around because they live in completely different worlds. Iberia shoots back, saying that a team covers each other's weaknesses and provides support. but his dad just calls him dead weight and says if he keeps this up, he'll just end up causing problems. The boy is stunned into silence, hearing the harsh truth from his own father. Aiden explains that rule doesn't apply when it comes to our hero, because he is someone special. He then asks if his son has ever truly seen the look in our MC's eyes when he faces a beast. Meanwhile, the system detects 5 enemies and restores 50% of his mana. Surrounded by enemies, he gets ready and tells them not to get in his way. With a single blow, our hero activates his Lotus Explosion, taking down 5 enemies at once. His critical rate is now at 2%, and he's not about to let anyone get near Iberia. From a distance, his friend is startled by the massive explosion that lights up the entire forest. He and Josuke get worried, thinking our hero must have run into some seriously strong beasts. The guy in the armor then realizes the reason the MC isn't leveling up must be his unique gift. Our MC reaches the green barrier and senses that the beasts here are on a different level. He tries to use his mana detection, but the barrier completely blocks his signal. Then he remembers his master telling him that the barrier's color indicates the monster's level. The color green means the beasts inside are between level 26 and 50. Thinking about all the sweet experience points he's about to get, our boy summons his new Shikigami. The system shows that the Death Hound is a B rank, level 16 creature with some pretty good stats. With a smirk, he pets his new companion and says he'll give all the experience points to it.